cartoon king, the one who taught them all to swing. Say his name, now let it ring. Tex Avery. He was sure a genius man. He made cartoons like no one can. The man's the best, give him a hand. Tex Avery. Whoa, eye popping, jaw dropping, tongue hanging, head banging, side splitting, bleeding at me. Tex Avery. Beetle-bop, beetle-beep, beetle-bop, 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 beep-beep, beep, blubba-doop, blubba-deep, beep-beep-bop. Tex Avery.
Frederick Bean Avery, also known as Tex Avery. He is one of the most influential people in animation history. He helped shape the structure and norms of the golden age of cartoons, causing a true drift from the Disney formula.
Barney Bear and Tommy Monkey and Dorothy Duck.
You wouldn't have liked the story anyway. The funny stuff will start as soon as the phone rings.
Tex Avery was born on February 26 in 1908 in the small town of Taylor, Texas. Avery was born to George Avery, a railroad worker, and Mary Augusta Bean, whose occupation is unknown. Avery lived most of his adolescence in Taylor, Texas, until his family ultimately moved to Dallas, Texas, where he went to North Dallas High. Avery would provide cartoon strips to the school newspaper, fueling his love of creating and writing gags. Avery graduated in 1926, deciding he wanted to pursue becoming a cartoonist for a real newspaper. Avery took summer courses at the Chicago Art Institute to reinforce his skills. After many attempts of trying to get work as a cartoonist, no one seemed to believe in the young artist. This would not last long. Avery knew he had to figure something out, and he did by deciding to pack his bags and moving to the city of stars, Los Angeles. In 1929, Avery's animation career finally began. After looking around for a while, Avery finally found a job. Walter Lance's studio hired the young cartoonist as an inker, working on Oswald the Lucky Rabbit shorts. His talent started to fruition, and he was getting attention from the higher-ups. Avery started to become a household name, finally getting credited as an animator in the shorts. Avery later said that he directed 2 Oswald shorts. Of course, these were uncredited and cannot be proven. Avery spent a few years at the studio, giving him a taste of animation. He continued to learn how to animate better and started finding his ways through gags. Near the end of his run, Avery was lollygagging with one of the fellow animators, Charles. Charles drew a wire paper clip at Avery's eye, causing him to lose vision in that eye completely. Many argue that this was beneficial to Avery. It is credited to being why Avery liked his cartoons looking so different. His vision was said to be distorted, so it was logical to see why he liked stretching his characters out so much. Avery spent many years at Walt's, but started growing tired of working at the studio. Displeased with his salary, he felt unappreciated, unheard, and frustrated. He was an animator, not a credited director, so not much could be done about this situation. Avery plotted a plan to get himself fired through his actions. A bit rash, but Avery found it as his only way out. He stopped being the perfect employee and decided it was better to give the least amount of effort possible. His work was sloppy and not appreciated by the studio. He put no energy into anything and really was a pain. This did not last long. It led into his eventual termination with the studio. Avery was now contractually free. He had no real idea where he was going, but he decided it was better to worry about it after his honeymoon with his wife.
There's something fishy about that.
In 1935, Avery decided he needed to work again. He went to the upcoming Warner Brothers animation studio. Avery walked into Leon Schlesinger's office, the producer of the shorts, and presented himself as an experienced director. Avery was so convincing that he received his own unit. Avery finally had the creative control that he had wanted for so many years. Avery soon settled into his new position. He quickly began working on his new shorts, Gold Diggers. This short starred Bean the Cat and had Porky as a supporting character. Prior to this, Porky was seen as a small child. Avery decided to age him up a bit and give him a kid. This short felt very Disney. You had the Mickey and Minnie clones, as well as the tough guy giving them problems. The one aspect of the short that makes it feel like it's not a complete clone is the gags. Avery started to shoehorn in a little bit of his comedy, and it started to show. He got a few laughs with this one. Ironically, Bean was meant to be the star of the short, but the real star was Porky, stealing the show for audiences. Avery continued to work on Porky for many more shorts. He eventually made him the star of the studio. Alongside with this, he was releasing big hits like 1936's I Love to Singa.
I love to sing about the moon and the June and the spring. I love to sing about a sky of blue or a T42, anything with a swing it to. And I love you. I love to sing. Oh, children.
This short shows what Avery could do with music. 1937's Picador Porky was also very well timed with the music, showing that Avery was finally starting to understand what he can do. In 1937, Avery created one of the biggest stars in the animation studio's history. With the release of Porky's Duck Hunt, Avery created Daffy Duck. Daffy was an immediate hit with the fans, really showing that he didn't care about following the Disney style anymore. This short was pure creative genius, forever cementing Daffy as a returning character. This was a true turning point for the studio. Avery's momentum was really starting now. After the creation of Daffy, he created Egghead, who eventually became Elmer Fudd. Egghead was shown in shorts like in 1937's Little Red Walking Hood, which was the first time Avery ever used a fairy tale as a concept for his shorts. This all led up to the eventual sequel of Porky's Duck Hunt, with 1938's Daffy Duck and Egghead.
My name is Daffy Duck. I work on a merry-go-round. The job was swell. I did quite well till the merry-go-round broke down.
This short was the first time we've ever seen Egghead as a hunter, a trend that will soon continue. Avery continued to have success through the 30s, continuing to refine Porky, Daffy, and Egghead. He continued using fairy tales in shorts with 1938's Cinderella Meets Fela. Avery's style was finally starting to be super stretchy and gag-oriented. This all led to one short, which is considered to be Avery's biggest contribution in animation history, and that's 1940's A Wild Hare.
What's up, Doc?
In this short, we see the first appearance of the refined Bugs. Bugs was seen before, but his personality, design, and voice were overhauled. Tex made Warner's biggest star with this short, giving him his classic catchphrase, what's up, Doc? This short focused on Egghead, now named Elmer, trying to hunt Bugs. Gags ensue, ending with Bugs outsmarting Elmer. This would be the building blocks of most Bugs shorts going forward. This short brought success to the studio, and Tex going as far as getting nominated for an Academy Award, losing to MGM's The Milky Way. Avery continued to refine the Bugs Bunny character, pitting him up against his greatest foe, or one of them, Cecil Turtle. Eventually, 1941's The Heckling Hare was Avery's last short with the studio. Avery was the man who made all of Warner Brothers' earliest animation stars. It was a shock when he left. He cultivated so many young artists, leading to the studio having great success in the future. Avery decided to leave the studio for a few reasons. Schlesinger started censoring Avery's work near the end. Avery was upset about this, but what put the final nail in the coffin was when Schlesinger turned down Avery's idea of having a show based off animals in nature with dialogue over them. Schlesinger didn't agree with his concept, thinking it would never make any money. Avery decided it was time to leave. Seeking a new company to buy the short, he turned to Paramount, who immediately bought it, and with that, Avery was finally gone.
Hello, Joe. I'm happy.
After his very brief time with Paramount, Avery decided to go back to animation, but this time he was going to go work for the big guys. With his experience and recognition in the industry, Avery quickly got work at MGM as a director of his own unit. This time it was a little more different. MGM had higher budgets for its shorts and less creative control from the higher ups. This really let Avery let loose. Avery's first short with the studios was 1942's Blitz Wolf, introducing his favorite wolf character. This used elements from his older shorts and shows how good he got at his craft. He based the story off the Three Little Pigs, but with a huge twist. The wolf character is playing Hitler. Although this was a propaganda short, it was still very funny. Avery would soon introduce one of MGM's most popular characters, Droopy Dog. At 1943's Dumb Hounded, the new dog, not named yet, Droopy, was pitted against the previously used wolf. This short would be the basis of most Droopy shorts, causing him to be one of the biggest stars MGM had. Immediately after, Avery made my personal favorite short of his, and arguably one of his best shorts ever, 1943's Red Hot Riding Hood. This short is a classic Avery.
Hey, Daddy, I want a diamond ring, I want some bracelets and everything. Daddy, you better get the best for me.
Avery continued to make shorts, introducing characters like Screwy Squirrel, who was shown to carry the same dislike for Disney shorts, and Butch Dog, also known as Spike, the new antagonist of the Droopy shorts. Avery made a whole lot of controversial shorts around this time, using racism as comedy. Times were different back then, and this was accepted during these times. Avery eventually seemed to be getting burned out from the animation industry. In 1952, Avery took a year-long break. This break was meant to give him a pause from the industry. When he came back the following year, it seemed the magic was still gone. It was time to leave. He did that exact thing. He left MGM. Avery left MGM because he felt burned out from making animation. But oddly enough, he returned to his origins and started working for Walter Lance's studio again. I believe this was Avery's last attempt to find something to cling onto. This was the industry that he loved for so long. Avery ended up making 4 shorts for the studio. He quickly left as he came, disputing his pay. He decided to move on and started working on TV advertisement. Later on through his life, he was asked to direct a Bugs Bunny commercial, which he loved. Avery was the perfect man for the job, confusing everyone else on set. No one knew he was the man who basically created the bunny. Around 1979, Avery created the Quickie Koala Show for Hanna-Barbera, marking it as the last time he ever worked on an animated project. Avery soon passed away on August 26, 1980. Avery will forever be known as a crucial player for the golden years of animation. His contributions will forever be known. His effects were felt in all the big studios. He basically gave the Looney Tunes their first real chance at being successful. He showed what breaking the norms can do for a short over at MGM. And he even inspired Disney with his Paramount shorts that didn't do too well. He was a true pioneer of the industry. I will always thank Tex for being the reason why I love cartoons so much.